This is going to be a massive mistake. Let's begin. Now, of course, Labour is doing its very best to pee off the entire country to make sure that we never vote for them again. And now if they do, this is bound to be the final nail in the Labour coffin. And I say that because, according to this article, it says UK councils plan for unlimited tax hikes laid bare ahead of Rachel Reeves' budget. So what is just going on then? How can they possibly do such a thing? Especially as, remember, at the moment we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. And no doubt, of course, Labour will try to blame it on the £22 billion black hole that they just won't shut up about. Even though, of course, they keep forgetting to mention that, what is it, £9 billion of that black hole is going towards paying the junior doctors' fees so they don't strike again. And then, of course, Ed Miliband's £11.6 billion, whatever it is going towards the climate emergency, but not for us, for overseas countries, which kind of makes that up around 20 billion, doesn't it? If that is indeed the case, of course. But anyway, the article goes on and says that council leaders have asked the government to enable them to impose unlimited tax hikes on residents ahead of next month's budget, according to reports. Because, yeah, I mean, let's face it, we haven't heard enough bad things about this budget as it is. I mean, no doubt, of course, I'll be lucky if I can even afford a pint of milk after Rachel Reeves has finished with us, eh? The Local Government Association, the LGA, will urge Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, to scrap the existing 5% annual cap on tax rises. The thing is, though, they can't just keep expecting to tax and tax and tax us. There's got to be some sort of limit. And admittedly, yes, some councils out there do have a hard time balancing the books, but perhaps they actually need to try a bit harder and actually getting the best deal they can, rather than expecting us to keep putting up with stupid tax rises that we can't actually afford ourselves. The Telegraph reports that senior government sources claim that they have no plans to undertake the reassessment of council tax bands, but claim that any other alterations will be decided in the spending review. So, if anything, to me that sounds like some sort of tax rise via the back door. No doubt, of course, Keir Starmer's getting a lot of experience about entering things via the back door with, let's face it, the close relationship he wants us to get with the EU again. Although, let's face it, if the EU get their way, it will more than likely be Keir Starmer who gets entered via the back door. But anyway, current rules stipulate that the council tax is only allowed to go up by a maximum of 5% per year unless approval is given by residents in a local referendum. Well, that is where we can probably give them the virtual middle finger and tell them to go back to the drawing board, unless I've got a feeling that Labour might do something to change all that, because let's face it, they don't really exactly like referendums too much, it seems, eh? Especially when, remember, in 2017, I think it was, when their then Brexit Secretary, Keir Starmer, actually wanted to go back to the country and ask them to have a people's vote. No doubt, of course, because he didn't agree with the answer we all gave him. And no doubt, of course, he'll more than likely want to do something similar with this. Councillor Pete Marland, the chair of the LGA's Community and Resources Board, told the outlet it should be for councils and their residents to decide how local services are paid for, not Whitehall. No other tax increases is subject to the extra costs of a referendum, as all other taxes are rightly seen to be within the mandate of the local elected government. The same should apply for council tax. The ballot box on the election day allows for people to pass judgment on their councils. He added, though, that the councils are facing, well, here we go again, up to a £6 billion funding black hole. Another one, eh? And no doubt, of course, now that Keir Starmer would have heard about this, it just makes me wonder how long it'll actually be before that £22 billion black hole suddenly turns into a £28 billion black hole. Over the next 24 months, he says. So, is he trying to say it's going to get worse unless something happens? Well, if anything, that is seeming to be how to get money out of Labour, isn't it? With all unions saying they'll strike, it just makes me wonder if the council's taken the leaf out of their book. He added that this is just to keep services as they are now with no further cuts. Well, perhaps if they didn't give them so much pay rises as I'm guessing they get, that would save quite a bit of money. But that's not it, because it says the LGA is also demanding that the Chancellor grants councils the power to reduce every single council tax discount, including the single person discount. And the single person's council tax discount is 25%. But quite worryingly, councils now argue that they should be the ones to decide locally whether to apply this discount or not. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm guessing my council we'll probably turn around and go, single person's discount, 25%. No, I'm sorry, we can't afford that. We'd like the full amount, please. I can just see that happening. So what the government said about it then? Well, the Treasury spokesperson, never like to seem to give their names, do they? But anyway, the spokesperson said, following the spending audit, our Chancellor has been clear that difficult decisions lie ahead on spending, which, to me, if anything, kind of sounds like they're very possibly thinking of doing it. But anyway, it goes on. Welfare and tax to fix the foundations on our economy and address the £22 billion black hole in the public finances left by the last government. And don't forget the decisions that Labour have made, but he doesn't say that. Decisions on how to do that will be taken at the budget in the round, which means in October, that very apt date, the day before Halloween. Well, no doubt, of course, we're all going to get a very nasty shock indeed.